This morning. One of my patients was rushed to the hospital, completely paralyzed, and passed away within minutes. The cause? A sudden stroke. Her name was Helen, 72 years old, living in Texas. A meticulous, tidy woman, proud of her disciplined lifestyle. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. She walked every day, ate healthy meals, followed everything we've been told is good for our health. And yet, on a quiet morning, as she prepared breakfast like she always did, she suddenly collapsed on her kitchen floor. Half her face was frozen. Her right arm dropped lifelessly. Within minutes, she could no longer speak. Helen had a stroke. The news stunned her entire family. But what shocked us as doctors even more was this. The cause wasn't bad habits. It was the very healthy foods she trusted for over a decade. You think eating healthy is enough to prevent a stroke? You might be wrong. If you, or someone you love over 60, are eating foods that seem heart-friendly every day, this video may change how you see your plate. As a physician, I'm going to share 3 extremely common foods that older adults consume regularly, believing they're good for the heart. But the truth? It's the complete opposite. And worse, the damage doesn't come from eating them once, but from the slow, silent buildup over months and years. Let's start with the first food, one that seems harmless, but could be the silent accomplice behind the next stroke. Low-fat flavored yogurt. At first glance, low-fat flavored yogurt seems like the perfect choice for older adults. It's creamy, convenient, often labeled as heart-healthy and packed with probiotics, right? That's exactly what Helen thought. Every morning, she would reach for a cup of strawberry low-fat yogurt, feeling confident it was a smart way to start the day. After all, it was low in fat, rich in calcium, and came in packaging covered with words like natural, gut-friendly, and supports immunity. But here's what many people, even health-conscious seniors, don't realize. Low-fat, flavored yogurts are often loaded with added sugars. In fact, some popular brands contain as much sugar per serving as a glazed donut. Anywhere from 15 to 25 grams, hidden beneath layers of fruity flavor and health-washed labels. So, what's the big deal with sugar? As we age, our blood vessels become more sensitive to inflammation and insulin spikes. Consuming excess sugar, especially first thing in the morning, causes rapid glucose surges, which in turn trigger inflammatory responses inside the arteries. Over time, this chronic low-grade inflammation can contribute to plaque buildup, narrowing of the arteries, and ultimately, stroke. Worse yet, many sugar-free or light versions of these yogurts replace sugar with artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose. While these may cut calories, research suggests that long-term use of certain artificial sweeteners may negatively affect gut microbiota, potentially increasing metabolic syndrome risks and vascular dysfunction, both major contributors to stroke risk in older adults. What to eat instead? If you enjoy yogurt, and many seniors do for good reason, there's no need to give it up entirely, but you do need to be more selective. Here's what I recommend as a safer, smarter alternative. Choose plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. It's higher in protein, lower in sugar, and more filling. Add your own natural flavor with a handful of fresh berries, a light drizzle of raw honey or maple syrup, no more than 1 TSP, a sprinkle of cinnamon or ground flaxseed for added fiber. This way, you stay in control of both the sweetness and the health benefits without falling into the trap of sugar-laced, overly processed products. Remember, not all healthy-looking foods are good for your heart or brain. In fact, it's often the ones hiding behind pretty labels that do the most silent damage over time. So before you reach for that low-fat yogurt tomorrow morning, ask yourself, am I feeding my health or just my habits? 2. Breakfast cereals labeled whole grain. If you walk down any breakfast aisle in the US or Europe, you'll see a parade of brightly colored boxes claiming to be high in fiber, made with whole grains, or heart-healthy. For older adults trying to eat smart, it feels like an easy win. And for years, Mr. Daniel, one of my patients, started every morning with a bowl of his favorite whole grain cereal. He thought he was doing everything right. Low cholesterol, lots of fiber, fortified with vitamins. Add some skim milk, maybe a banana. What could go wrong? Plenty. Most commercial cereals, even those labeled whole grain, are highly processed and loaded with added sugars and sodium. 1 cup of healthy cereal can easily contain 8 to 12 grams of sugar and nearly 200 milligrams of sodium. And that's before you add milk or toppings. Why is that dangerous? Let's break it down. First, sugar in the morning causes blood glucose spikes followed by insulin surges. Over time, this cycle promotes inflammation and insulin resistance, both of which damage blood vessels and significantly raise stroke risk, especially in people over 60. Second, sodium contributes directly to hypertension, a leading cause of stroke. Many people don't realize that packaged cereals are a hidden source of salt, one that silently pushes daily intake beyond the safe threshold. Third, these cereals often have a high glycemic index, meaning they're digested quickly, and cause rapid swings in blood sugar. That leads to energy crashes, cravings, and metabolic stress on an aging body. What makes it worse is that the marketing is convincing. Seniors are often told, whole grains are heart healthy. But the key word is whole, not processed into flakes and sprayed with vitamins. What to eat? Instead, if you're used to starting your day with cereal, you don't have to abandon the ritual, just upgrade it. Try this instead: steel-cut oats or rolled oats cooked fresh, slow-releasing, fiber-rich, and naturally satisfying. Add a handful of blueberries, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a few walnuts for brain-boosting power. If you prefer toast, choose 100% whole grain bread, topped with mashed avocado, nut butter, or boiled eggs. Avoid instant oatmeal packets. They're often just as sugary as boxed cereals. The worst part about these healthy cereals is not the taste or convenience. It's the illusion of safety. They make you feel like you're taking care of your body, when in reality you may be fueling the very risks you're trying to avoid. Choose real food. Choose control. Choose prevention. Deli turkey or chicken breast. You've probably heard it before. Stick to lean meats. Ditch the red meat. Turkey and chicken breast are better for your heart. That advice isn't wrong, but it leaves out something critical, especially if you're over 60. How the meat is processed matters just as much as what animal it comes from. Let me tell you about Mrs. Linda, 68, one of my longtime patients from Ohio. She had switched from bacon to deli turkey years ago. She thought she was doing everything right. Sandwiches with lean turkey slices, low-fat cheese, and whole-grain bread, 5 days a week. And yet when her blood pressure climbed and her arteries stiffened, she was shocked. So was I, until I took a closer look at her diet. The real culprit? Those thin, salty slices of healthy deli meat. Deli turkey and chicken breast are highly processed. While they may be low in fat, they're often sky-high in sodium and filled with preservatives like nitrates and nitrites. Sodium overload. A single 2-ounce serving of deli turkey can contain up to 600 milligrams of sodium. That's 25% of the recommended daily limit. And most people eat more than 1 serving per meal. Preservatives and chemicals, nitrates, used to keep meat fresh-looking and increase shelf life, have been linked to increased risk of vascular inflammation, hypertension, and stroke. Cumulative risk. For older adults, daily consumption of processed meats silently damages blood vessels. The impact builds up over time, not overnight. Even low-sodium or organic deli meats aren't immune. Processing, by definition, means altering food from its natural form, and that usually comes with trade-offs. What to eat instead? You don't have to give up sandwiches, but you do need to rethink what goes between the bread. Healthier protein options, leftover home-cooked chicken or turkey, sliced thinly boiled or poached eggs, mashed chickpeas, or hummus-canned tuna in water-grilled. Tofu or tempeh pair these with 100% whole grain bread, fresh veggies, and heart-healthy fats like avocado or olive oil-based spreads. Deli meats are deceptive. They're convenient, marketed as healthy, and feel clean. But the truth is, they're silently sabotaging your cardiovascular health, especially when consumed regularly over time. If you're serious about stroke, prevention. It's not just about choosing white meat over red. It's about choosing real food over processed shortcuts. Because in the end, your brain doesn't care what's on the label. It only responds to what's in your bloodstream. So let's recap. Low-fat flavored yogurts may come with more sugar than sweetness. Whole grain cereals often hide salt and sugar behind pretty packaging. Deli meats, convenient, yes, but dangerously processed. You've just learned how 3 seemingly harmless foods can quietly raise your risk of stroke after 60. Not overnight, but through years of daily habits. And the good news? You can change that. Starting today, because stroke doesn't knock, it doesn't wait, and most of all, it doesn't care if you meant well, but now you know better, and that means you can do better. If this video helped you understand your food choices more clearly, please hit that like button. It really supports the channel. Have questions or want me to review other foods? Leave a comment below. I read every one. And if you care about your long-term health or want to protect your parents, grandparents, or friends, click subscribe and turn on notifications. I post weekly, simple, doctor-approved videos to help you live better. Not just longer. You're never too old to make a better choice and never too young to start. Take care of your heart, take care of your brain, and I'll see you in the next video.